Hey, everybody, we're here for a new episode of Five for Talking. I guess this is going to be the last episode before the season starts, and then season five will kick off. I'm here with Caps, captain of the show. He does everything better than me. And so he has this episode is just going to be some talking points. We're not really going to go too deep into like rumor stuff or like what's going to happen. But so there was an article on the Score, which is a Canadian sports app now network, about the top, what was it, 8 lines? Top
In the
8 lines
NHL.
in the NHL. And Caps is going to info dump.
So we're gonna go from worst to best, I guess. And who they have at number 8 is from the Minnesota Wild, Kaprizov, Eriksson, Zuccarello. Do you think that they'll be able to repeat what they did from last season to even?
Yeah. Did they
Go for
really
broke?
do much, like, as a team, do you mean? I think they're going to be fine. I mean, we put them pretty decently ranked on our boxes and the tier list. I think they'll be fine. I don't know how good that line really was. Like, it was okay. Like, I'm not taking away from them anything. Kaprizov got, I think, like 50 something points. It's not like he set like a record for rookies or something.
Yeah, I compare them to the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't think there was one single line that stood out. It's just more of a team effort.
Well, Carolina's
which is-
much deeper.
Yes, but in the sense that there wasn't one specific line in comparison to even the other lines on this list. I don't, and we'll be going into it afterwards. Lines that were left off. I don't know.
Yeah, bizarre. It's bizarre.
I don't know if the Minnesota Wild would technically, this line would be on this list.
Okay, well, you go through them all, and then we'll talk about it after. Let's just get all the lists out of all the lines out of the way.
Sure. Number 7 is from the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm going to need some. I can never pronounce his name, but DeBrincat.
DeBrincat.
There we go. Johnson and Kane. Number 6, Richie Matthews Marner. Number 5, Hyman, McDavid, Puljujärvi. Number 4, Pacioretty, Stevenson, and Stone. Number 3, is it Palais?
On Tampa Bay?
Yeah, Point and Kucherov.
Palat, Andre Palat.
Palat.
Yeah.
Number 2, Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak. And number 1, and this is, I would definitely agree with this, Landeskog, Kenin, Rantanen.
I think the top 2 are, without a doubt, the top 2 lines in the NHL.
Do you think that number 2, the Pasternak, Bergeron, Marchand takes a dip or no?
No, I don't think so. I think what the regression that will happen with Marchand and Bergeron, Pasternak is going to make up for, in my opinion. If he stays healthy this year, Pasternak is going to be in the top 3 for points. He's going to be an absolute monster. Look what he did last year. He came back from that injury and he tore it up. He absolutely tore it up. And he's just as skilled as like the Austin Matthews and those guys of the NHL. He's in that tier. He's in this, like, almost in the top tier of players in the NHL, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with like the third one too. Like I think they should be number 3. Kucherov, Point.
I mean, Point is undoubtedly like one of the most underappreciated. I guess he maybe not, but like his points don't really tell the whole story, and he does put up a lot of points. We've had this talk before. Tampa, I agree. As long as the name Stamkos is not on that line, I agree.
Yeah. Not so sure about number 4, Pacioretty, Stevenson, and Stone.
I think it's a solid line, but I mean, if you take Stone off that line, it's not even remotely in that class. Like Pacioretty, yes, puts up goals and gets points, but he's not as good as Mark Stone, not even close. Yeah. He's a compliment piece, and Stevenson is like, he's fine. I don't even remember much about him, and I actually watched a lot of Vegas games.
Yeah. Number 5. I mean, any line with McDavid will probably most likely be in the top 5. But
I agree with it in the sense of what you just specifically said. I do not think that line is that good, but I think just having Connor McDavid automatically makes the line good.
Number 6, Richie Matthews Marner.
I think Matthews and Marner together automatically on this list, no matter who the other person is.
Yeah.
But I mean, Richie in the preseason looked all right. So
yeah, let's see how that goes.
Let's see, right? If he can keep his mind on the game, then we should be okay.
That pretty much covers everybody. Do we want to go into lines that we think should be on there?
Lines that... Who is after Minnesota? Chicago. I want to talk about Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Kane is just as talented as anyone else in the NHL. He's a little bit aged. He still has it. Don't get me wrong. He absolutely could still put up a 90-point season. The problem is, I don't think they're over. Like we were talking about when they got Johnson, that it was a really good move. This and that. I was expecting Johnson to be the third line center or the fourth line center and bring that defensive game that he brought for Tampa Bay. Yes, his type of game style will fit with Kane, but he's not that guy. Like you putting him there is like, DeBrincat is good. But I don't think the two of them, and we'll see how it goes, right? But I don't think the two of them are enough just with Kane to be like on this list. Now that I think about it.
That was a team without Taves.
Yes.
So he should be back this season. Let's see how.
If you had a line that was Kubalik, Taves, and Kane, I would say 100%. This is the right on that list.
But Taves and Kane don't really play much.
They never do.
Yeah, they really don't. They'll occasionally do it, but
I believe in one of the playoff runs, they smacked them together for the whole playoff run and they dominated. But you know what I mean, right? Like I don't feel like that's like I don't think that's speaking to me. And we didn't talk about that before. That's one line that I didn't even think about. But in my opinion, and you will probably agree, I think on this list, it's potentially replaceable. At least two of them. The Vegas line can go. Definitely the Minnesota line can go. And probably the Chicago line can go too.
Yeah. So who do we replace them with?
Okay, so my first immediate pick to bring to this table was Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So you talk about it. That was my right away I thought of it. I'm like, how is this not on here?
Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, Blake Wheeler. I don't know how they are not on this list.
You're talking about three guys that can score 30 goals. Blake Wheeler, a former like big time point production guy, not to mention he's a power forward that you know what I mean, and it has a defensive aspect. Connor and Scheifele
is just
Connor and
awesome.
Scheifele are primed to get 80-point seasons this year after what they've been putting up. Scheifele has proven he's a number one guy on that team. That's insane. And you know what's funny? We even agreed that we don't think Winnipeg is one of the better teams in the NHL, but to leave that line off is insane. That's absolute insanity to not have that line on it.
Agree.
You could even put Ehlers in place of one of those guys, and they would still be on that list. So,
who else do you think should go on? I mean, I got my picks, but
my other one was the Rangers. Mm-hmm. So right now, if you check any of the line sites, they're showing a really weird jumble of lines. But in my opinion, you're either gonna start, you're gonna have Panarin, Zibanejad, and what's the guy right now that's on the left wing?
On the second line or on the
first line?
It's the rookie. It's Alexis.
No, the other guy.
Kako?
No, on the first line.
Excuse me, on the left wing?
Yeah.
Kreider.
Okay, so it's either going to be Kreider, Panarin, and Zibanejad with one of the wingers playing on the off wing, or it's going to be Panarin, Zibanejad, and Lafreniere. I can't imagine why your number one guy would be playing on the second line.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But to be honest with you, the
He's
second
destined
line
to
is
like.
good.
He's destined to get he's destined to get a lot
Yeah.
of points this year.
I'll give you my biggest gripe with that situation. If Lafreniere has another season like last year, as well as Kako, because they've both been like duds. Well, Kako for like 2 years in a row. Lafreniere last year only, but you're gonna have a first line with Lafreniere just not doing anything. You know what I mean? You're gonna need Panarin up there. It just doesn't. But both lines are good on paper.
I agree.
But I think after the last couple of years of Banajed and Panarin as a combo, you could put anyone on that team on the other wing, and that's already a top NHL line.
No, I agree. I mean, we talked about it before, but I'll bring it up anyway. Anders Lee, Barzal, and Kyle Palmer. What do you think about that?
I think Barzal is way more talented than he leads on. Like, he had that really good rookie season, and then he's been good ever since. And you could see him when he plays with the puck in the playoffs, like the way he cycled the puck on his, and like carried the puck around on his own. Is his stick handling is fantastic. He's a star player, but he hasn't been able to replicate the points per game that he was doing in that rookie year. And I don't think that line really, on that note, has the star power, because Palmieri's older. He's not a goal scorer in any way. And Anders Lee is like, yeah, he's good, but he's also not that guy. You basically have two grinders on a line with Barzal.
Okay, well, that was pretty much it. I mean, the only one I had was the Florida Panthers line, but you poo-pooed on that.
No, give me the Florida Panthers line.
Well, Reinhart, Barkov, and yeah, right now they have, and I can't pronounce his last name as well. Carter. I'll just leave it at that. But
listen, yeah. if you take off any of those wingers, okay, you put Huberdeau, Barkov, and another guy.
Huberdeau is actually rated on the second line. That's why I was kind of confused.
You put Huberdeau and Barkov and any one of those wingers, you're automatically. I would put Huberdeau, him, and who's the guy they got that was Anthony Duclair. You put those three on a line, that's on top 8 right there, because Duclair will be your hitter and your grinder and all that stuff.
They got like Sam Bennett, they got Tippett.
If you take Carolina's lineup, if you put like Aho, Teravainen, and Svenchankov, I can't even draw in a blank, but you put those three guys on a line, that's like top 3 lines in the NHL for just raw talent. So like, I mean, there's other. I think it's not always best to put all your talent on one line, which is smart, right? But at the same time, when you're looking at these lines, they're kind of jumbled up messes too. Only those first 2 lines are really like just pure go for it power.
The first 3.
Okay, first 3. I'll give you first 3.
Yeah, because Tampa line is disgusting.
If you found a way to put Draisaitl and McDavid together, I mean,
but they won't, because that was the whole point of that team.
I think, okay, but
spread things out.
It just from the sense of what we know, I think Winnipeg line is that line it should be, and New York Rangers, one of those, the line is probably going to happen. So those both seem plausible, and those both should be on this list. I don't. It boggles my mind that the Minnesota line is even being mentioned. Like, I don't. The New York Islanders line is better than that.
I think they kind of rushed that article and they just put stuff together and just,
I have to agree. So I actually, funny enough, I have one here that's I think is better than those lines. So if you can listen to me, Alex Ovechkin, Evgeny Kuznetsov, and Tom Wilson. Wow. I think that's easily. I know Tom Wilson's, not our favorite person on earth, but he could still score 20 goals and he'll hit anybody that gets in the way.
Yeah, I actually saw that as well, and I was going to add that to the list. But I always wondered when did they split up him and his old linemate
Backstrom
Backstrom?
almost immediately when Kuznetsov started playing well, which I thought was kind of a weird.
Because they played very well together. I just always wondered why they split them up.
I believe it was just to like spread out the talent throughout the team, and Kuznetsov was lighting it up at the time. I mean, another line that I was looking at the other day, I'll just bring it up just for S's and G's, but Hoglander, Pettersson, and Besser. If Besser plays like he did last year and Pettersson plays to his potential, that Vancouver line is very good.
Yeah, I think the only reason why they were not on the list is because
I think a lot of it is based
last year.
Exactly. I think a lot of it is based off production from last year rather than what's going to happen this year. I mean, because if you're playing by those odds, Montreal's like young first line looks pretty decent. Toffoli, Suzuki, and Caulfield, if they all play to their potential, that line is amazing.
There's a lot of hype behind that line, but I think they're like a year or two away.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're a year or two away. Because right now, for me personally, Josh Anderson. Is it Josh Anderson or Joey Anderson?
I think it's Josh.
Yeah, I always get him confused with the Leaf player. And that Anderson is just miles ahead of everybody else on the Montreal team. I'm sorry, he's just.
What if Dallas goes back to their original first line that was Ben, Seguin, and Pavelski? That's a pretty good line too. Or if they put Radulov on there and take off one of those wingers.
It's possible, but that team has kind of like tapered off for, ever since they made it to
the West is really weak this year, though. And I think Dallas actually has a shot to make the playoffs and make a good run at it. Mm-hmm. I think overall they're a solid team. They just can't stay healthy. If you have Seguin healthy for 82 games, I think you're a much better team.
I agree.
So, I mean, line-wise, I don't know if I have any too much else. Do you have anything on lines? Okay, so, I mean, by the time I post this video, this is going to be a couple days late, but you got the signings of Pettersson and Quinn Hughes. How do you feel about that?
It was necessary.
100%. 100%.
If they didn't get signed, Vancouver would have been in trouble this year. Like, I don't know what they would be able to do. It would have been a year wasted, pretty much. But it seems as though it's more of a bridge deal for Pettersson. I think you mentioned it before that he's just banking on himself. And,
he has to be, because
I think they're just waiting for the cap to go up, and then they just
it has to be
monster signing.
Because look, Quinn Hughes is 6 years, right? And for a defenseman of his caliber, 6 years at 7.85 is pretty like market value. He's getting paid what he deserves based on it, and they're going to get 6 years locked up. 3 years for Pettersson at 7.35. You know that guy wants $9 million. He's going to play right now. He's going to get a $10 million contract when this is over, if he plays to what he's supposed to do. It's a safe bet for Vancouver. It's a safe bet for Pettersson. The Quinn Hughes contract is much prettier to me if I'm a Canucks fan. Like, that's what you wanted. Because when that's over, he's going to get $10 million. He's one of the best defensemen in the NHL already. And
he's only what, like 20?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe he only played 2 seasons. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe he played 2 seasons. Yeah.
21.
So, I mean, I don't really have anything else NHL-wise. But if you want to do a little bit of Leafs talk here, just basic preseason, what was your first thought? Give me just your first thought. Just one. Because I know you want to say like 10 things.
That's the problem.
Give me one first.
Let's do maybe we should do a Leafs episode then.
Oh, now you want to do a Leafs episode?
Well, if we're gonna discuss, I can't limit it
No,
down to one
okay,
thought.
okay, give me a couple thoughts then. Go ahead.
I can't. It'll be like 10.
Okay, I'm gonna give you thoughts then, and you tell me what you think.
Okay,
All
go.
right. So immediately I am pretty surprised at the talent level of Camp. Um, the way they spoke of him coming into this, I was expecting, yeah, I knew he was going to be great defensively, but I thought maybe that was because he has like a lack of talent. But he definitely does it.
I think his purpose is to be a two-way player, add a little bit of grip, but plays responsible defense, if that makes sense. He's responsible defensively. I think that's the terminology I'm looking for. So I think it's necessary because they don't have anybody like him on that team. So he will be. I think he will be playing on the third line, and I look forward to seeing what that line does throughout the season to shut down the opposition.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
he's going to be very effective on the penalty kill. In my eyes, like I think that's what they brought him in for. Yeah. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
I mean, I'm just really surprised by how he's played. So, I mean, I didn't really expect it, like I said, and he's played really well. I know this is preseason. He's been like probably the best player to me out there. Also, Kasha has looked decent in little
He has
a little amount of ice time.
It looks like he has the potential to be very, very good. And obviously, you know as well as I do, and even Bargo knows that his flaw and what's going to hold him back is his inability to stay healthy. So if he can find a way, or if him and the organization can find a way to limit his play so that he could stay effective, I think he could do some really good things.
Yeah, you could definitely see that there's like he has a talent for hockey.
I think me and you kind of like agreed that he was going to be projected to play on the third line.
Yeah.
Honestly, he could play on the second line.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
He could possibly play on the second line if he could build some chemistry with Nylander and Tavares. It's possible. I don't really think the lines are set in stone just yet.
I mean, we know the four people that are going to be in their places.
Yes. And things like Richie and Bunting, I don't think any of that is set in stone. I really don't. I think we're going to get thrown a curveball. I just got this feeling that we're going to get thrown a curveball in that first game, and in what the lines are going to be looking like. Yeah.
I honestly, I have this feeling that they're going to trade Mcdavid. I know he doesn't want to play here, and they said they weren't going to do it. I'm just throwing that out there. I just kind of think that that's going to happen.
No, I don't think he's too happy. He's most likely going to be playing on the third line. I don't know if he'll be up for it or happy about it.
I mean, it is what it is. Okay, so what about Bunting? What are your thoughts on Bunting?
And that's the reason why I think Mcdavid is going to play on the third line, because to me, Bunting will serve the team best playing out of the first or second line. That's just my opinion. Yeah, that the way he played that last game was, I know it's only a preseason game.
Yeah.
But to me, his work ethic, I think will really, help him.
He's been good. So, I mean, I don't know what level I'm gonna say for real that I think he's at, but I was surprised by it, and a lot of like pundits on like random YouTube channels and throughout the sports channel networks and stuff are all talking about this guy like, oh yeah, he's a hidden talent. He's been there. Yeah. I mean, like, how have I never heard of this guy? and how come nobody else was trying to get him? So,
Mhm.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like people just overhype things because they play for the Leafs. But he has played good, so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But it was just preseason. Is there
It's
anybody
just
else?
preseason.
Anybody else?
Uh, Mrazek looks really good.
Mrazek has talent. He just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, if he could find a way, and I think that that's why Campo, Mrazek, they can like balance out the schedule, and I think that would really help Mrazek, and I think that would really help out Campo because both of them have not been able to play a full NHL season. Um, yeah, Mrazek has got some crazy skill in that net, man. Like it was, he he robbed Anderson. I think he robbed somebody else. I can't remember who it was. It was like he flashed a glove, like wow. But Curtis Gabriel, he's very slow in terms of his skating abilities, but he can lay in the body, and that's a pretty cool thing to see. So for me, I think he'll be like an extra forward. I think him and um, somebody from the fourth line will probably come in and out of the lineup. I think he'll serve the team very well. um, I don't think Dermott played very well. Has been playing very well in my
I
eyes.
mean,
I
we've both agreed on that in the past, though, that
Yeah, I
he's
don't.
overrated.
I think they're missing one more decent defenseman, and I think that is going to play a part on whether or not they'll be successful this season. I think just think about Richie has played decent.
Yeah, Richie's been all right. I mean,
Other than
to be
that,
honest with you,
that's it.
I didn't really pay attention much to the defensive players. I'm going to be honest. But I did notice what you're saying about Dermott. That was the only thing that really stood out to me from the defensive end. Oh, Sandin has actually looked pretty good. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Sandin has been playing all right.
People have said that Lilligren looks good. I haven't seen
No,
much of a difference.
but Sandin
Sorry.
looks like he actually took a step forward. So let's see how that goes.
But that's the thing. So like, okay, you have the Hulls, you have the Muzzins, you have the Brodies, you have the Rileys, you have the Sandin. You still need one more person. You know what I mean?
So tell me what you do here. I'm going to throw out a scenario. Tell me what you think.
All right, go.
So we were just talking about Mikheyev. We clearly have the depth at forward because if you keep Gusev, is that who they signed? Nikita Gusev.
If they, he's on a PTO, and so
he's on a PTO.
Josh Hosang.
Okay, but let's just say you brought both those guys in, and they end up being either like random coming in or outers, and then you said the other guy to I forgot his name. The fourth line guy.
What, Gabriel?
Gabriel. So you have that, okay? You have the room now to get rid of the contract for Mikheyev. You package him with Dermott, you get rid of them, and you get a defenseman. Not like $100 million defenseman. You bring in like a $3-4 million guy that's a stay-at-home checking defenseman, similar to Bogosian.
I would even throw Engvall in that deal.
Oh, you're not going to get rid of three people, I don't think.
Yeah, but that's like
I think
that's almost $4 million, like right there.
I think if you go to a team that's in tank mode, Buffalo, Arizona, you get one of their scrap pieces. They'll love to take on two young guys and a draft pick, and then they'll retain salary even probably to give you the guy. So
it's possible. I mean, it all depends on what.
Yeah.
It all depends on what Dubas can pull off. But honestly, like that hole that's left by Bogosian is, it's
you know what?
Them. It's going to affect them.
It's a hole seems bigger because of Dermott as well. Like it's already a hole, and then it's like he definitely lets you know that there's a hole there.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Dermott turns it around. I really do, but like it just, it's been like 2 years now that he's been in and out of the lineup, and Sandin is ready to take over.
Yep.
And he's going to. And
He's-
then there's
he's
all this
very-
talk about Lilligren, and I'm sorry, I don't see it. Like
I
it's-
agree with
like,
you,
it does
but
not
we've been
excuse
saying
my
that
language.
even Bargo for the last 3 years that Lilgren is not that guy.
He's not. I
So-
don't see it. Unless he can make huge strides this year. I don't know. I just don't see it. Like I was seeing somewhere like in the first game that Hosang is amazing, blah blah blah. He gave him the puck a few times, and he was trying to be a little too pretty.
The guy has
I don't know.
raw talent.
Yeah, but
He
like he
has
just
a skill.
shows off, and
He has such a bad attitude, and everything's about him. And he's been like that for his whole career. I'm not just making this up. You can look up anything you want. He's just genuinely not a good guy in the locker room. And so I don't know what to say about him. I mean, I wouldn't mind having him on the team as like the extra guy. Like we said, he goes up and down. He takes spots. If Gusev is like we talked about this, that guy is a talent in the NHL. He's just never had a chance. He's never flourished in the NHL. He's been great overseas. He's been great in junior.
which makes me wonder why he's only been signed to a PTO. Like who's not like nobody's willing to pick him up. So it just makes me wonder if there's something else that we don't know about as to why he's not.
That's possible. I mean, we know why Hosang is not on the team, so that's already fair.
Yeah.
The
I don't wanna make
Islanders
any
gave him so many
assumptions
chances.
or anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if Gusev is the same in terms of his attitude. I don't know. I'm just.
He just hasn't been able to put it together in the NHL, and that could be why. Who knows? Maybe he just doesn't get along with people. But I mean, I don't have anything else about the Leafs. Do you? All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about those lines in the comments. Peace out.